Here we go. Yeah, I wasn't able to do the art market because I got sick and I'm still kind of under the weather a little bit, but just because I'm not doing an art market, I still wanted to kind of show off my art because I don't think I've ever kind of done that on my channel before. But yeah, here we go. Here's my art. I have it all like laid out here, what I was going to bring to the art market. And I'm just going to go through it and show you all because I'm so proud of my art. I'll start with like prints first because they are like the closest to me. So I have prints in like 2 sizes. So I have kind of these like 5x7 inch, and then I have like the 8x10. And I did used to do like 3 sizes, but these are kind of like 2 of the best sellers. So I'm going to keep it to 2 sizes just because it's kind of easier to like transport my art as well. But yeah, this portrait is kind of in packaging. I don't know if you can see it, but this is my portrait called Sentiment. I, like a lot of people, have a really bad habit of kind of like running from my feelings, and when I found out that I'm autistic, it kind of gave me pause and it kind of gave me time to kind of realize that I do intellectualize my feelings a lot instead of actually like feeling them. So I wanted to kind of make a kind of portrait that, I don't know, kind of reflected that, and kind of wanted to remind everybody that it's okay to actually like feel your feelings, and that you will feel a lot better if you do actually feel them instead of running from them. So this is like another kind of 5x7 inch as well, and I don't know if you can see it because it is in packaging. I might actually take it out so you can see it better. Then I make my prints and I kind of like mount them like this. I kind of add like extra details afterwards after I make the print, so that kind of like reflective details that you can see in the print is just kind of, I went over the print with like kind of like silver kind of like stuff, and I added details to every one of my prints, so they're kind of like custom like pieces of art instead of just like making like kind of like loads of prints and kind of having them be the same. So I kind of wanted to give like people the option, if they didn't want to buy like the original piece of art, they could just buy a print of it but still kind of have like their own individual like piece of artwork. So yeah, I do this to like every kind of like print as well, and I kind of want to make a video of how I kind of make the art prints as well, like what paper to use and like how I mount them and all that stuff. Because I know a few people have been asking, so it might be kind of like a good idea to make that video just to kind of give people advice. But I am very much like at the start of my art journey, so I'm probably not the best person to go to for advice because I'm very much figuring this out as I go. But yeah, if you want to kind of see that video, I can make it. So like just sticking with prints, I make my own art prints and I kind of mount them myself, and there's like a lot of trial and error that comes with that. So I also kind of bring the prints that I wasn't really happy with or I wasn't kind of comfortable putting on my website. So these kind of prints. No, there's nothing wrong with these prints. It's just some of them are the wrong size. Some of them, the color didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But like they're still good, kind of good prints. So I'll bring these to the art market and kind of have like a little kind of like sale basket, and I will kind of sell them off really cheap, and it's a kind of a good way to still make money at art markets, but kind of like also not wasting like a lot of paper and wasting kind of like the time and effort that you kind of put into making prints as well. So I will kind of bring those kind of prints. So because I'm just starting out with my art, people don't really know me and they don't really know my art, so they might be reluctant to kind of buy like a big original piece from me for like a lot of money. So when it comes to prints, that's also why I have like kind of like prints on sale. So as well as prints, I have like stickers on my artwork. So I make I just get like vinyl paper and I make stickers of my art. And I think when you're doing art markets, I find it's a really good idea to kind of have different price points because different people have different budgets. So it's nice to kind of try and cater for everybody. And yeah, sometimes it's nice to kind of like make a small sale like this, especially if it's like on a quiet day. So I'll bring stickers of my artwork as well, and I'll bring stickers kind of like these ones. So I'm gonna have like a low social battery sticker and kind of like my note to self, like a reminder, kind of like be gentle to yourself, those kind of stickers as well. And those usually sell like really, really well. And I usually do like a deal, like kind of like 3 for 10 or like 5 for 20 or something like that. And people can kind of mix and match, and it's kind of like nice, like kids love these as well. So I also have like the Feel So You Can Heal sticker, and this is also on a t-shirt on my website, and that's been like a really big hit as well. So it's really nice to kind of have different options at an art market, because you don't really know what people are in the mood to buy, and you don't really know what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. So yeah, some of it is kind of trial and error, and some of it you just kind of have to put yourself out there and see how it goes. But yeah, stickers are a really great option for an art market. I'm going to move on to like framed pieces and original pieces, and I keep them like in this box like beside me, and I have kind of like my like tablecloths for the art market in the same box so I don't forget anything. And yeah, these are kind of like the musical print, like the musical, like musical. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, I'm too sick to do this, but we will carry on. Music is a huge kind of like special interest of mine. I listen to music, I don't know how many hours a day. Because I'm a portrait artist, I wanted to draw like my favorite artists. So first one up is this guy. It's my Elton John portrait. I really love how it turned out. I kind of wanted to kind of like strip it back like a little. I didn't want to kind of draw him or paint him in his like full gear and full get up. I kind of like it when people are kind of like stripped back and you can kind of see like who the person is kind of underneath. So I have that one. Okay, so another one is obviously it's the Queen portrait. I absolutely adore Queen. I think they are one of my like favorite bands ever. So obviously I had to kind of paint them, draw them. I usually kind of like start out like these are all watercolor by the way, and then I will go over like with pen just to kind of get like the details on the faces because I don't have brushes small enough to do that. But yeah, that is my Queen portrait. Okay, so this is Courage. Move back a bit. This is my Courage portrait. I think growing up autistic or growing up not realizing that you are different in some way, you kind of learn how to hide yourself and how to kind of not be yourself because you're taught like that you don't deserve to be yourself. So this is just a kind of reminder that it does take courage to be yourself, especially when you live in a world that is not accepting of who you are or doesn't want you to be yourself, and that it does take a lot of courage to be who you are and to know who you are and to put yourself out there. But when you kind of take that courage and show people who you are, other people are inspired to kind of be themselves as well. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And it should be kind of encouraged and supported. And this is what that portrait represents. one is my Wonder portrait. Growing up as a girl, I hated the colour pink because I was always told that it was a colour that I had to love because I was a girl. Whereas now that I'm an adult, I have fallen back in love with the colour pink, and I wanted to create this portrait to kind of represent your inner child and represent the kind of parts of yourself that you learn to hate in childhood, that it's okay to kind of like fall in love with them again and kind of embrace them. So yeah, she had to be pink for that reason. And I think she works really well with the frame as well. I kind of have like white frames and black frames, so I think the colours really pop with the kind of like wooden kind of like effect of the frame. And yeah, she's definitely kind of one of my favourites. We are back to kind of like the music artist that I love. And you might have seen this one before, but she is my Chapel Roan portrait. And yeah, she's another artist that I absolutely love because I think she is totally herself and she's not afraid to be herself, and I love artists that are like that. And I also love that I didn't finish her crown. I kind of like left that unfinished, and I love like the colors and like the blues and the oranges just like kind of like pop off each other. And again, I think it works really well in like the wooden kind of effect frames. And yeah, she's always kind of like a big hit. That is it. That is the art that I was going to bring to the market, but I unfortunately couldn't make it to the market. But I did want to kind of like show off some of my art. I think I might make like another video kind of going into the details about like kind of like the inspiration behind some of the pieces and kind of how I made some of the pieces. But yeah, for this video, that's all I can do because I'm still recovering. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to show my art, and I really hope you like it. And if you did like it, I'd love it if you like and subscribe and comment down below what's your favorite portrait. And if you want to know more about like kind of like the pieces that I've shown, you can go on to orlaartist.com, and I can leave the link down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.